How to handle emergencies in the wild. Bites, cuts, and other accident. Imagine this. You're deep in the wild. It's just you and nature, and you're feeling invincible. Then, out of nowhere, a sharp stick pierces your leg. Or worse, a snake strikes, and you feel that unmistakable sting. Now, the adrenaline kicks in. You're miles away from the nearest hospital, and you have to handle this by yourself. But don't panic. Today, we're going to talk about the essentials you need to know to handle emergencies in the wild, whether it's a simple cut or something much worse. By the end of this video, you'll be prepared for the unexpected. And if you want to take your preparation to the next level, I've dropped a link to a complete wilderness first aid kit in the comments section below. Trust me, this kit could be the difference between life and death. Minor cuts and scrapes. First things first, let's start with the basics. Minor cuts and scrapes. This is the type of injury that can easily get worse if you don't treat it properly. When you're out in the wild, dirt and bacteria are everywhere. Even a small cut can quickly become infected if it isn't cleaned up right away. Here's what you need to do. Clean the wound. You can use your emergency water supply, or if you're near a clean source, purify it. You should always have a filtration system, or at least iodine tablets in your kit. Disinfect. This is where your antiseptic wipes or alcohol swabs come in handy. Wipe down the area thoroughly to kill any bacteria. Bandage. In the wild, a simple bandage might not be enough. If you're out of bandages, don't worry. Use duct tape or even clean cloth. The goal is to keep dirt and bacteria out. These are simple steps, but in the wild, minor injuries are often overlooked, leading to bigger problems down the line. Trust me, you don't want to ignore them. Dealing with deep cuts or bleeding. Alright, now we're stepping up the stakes. What happens when the cut isn't minor? When it's deep and the blood won't stop. This is when the real danger begins. If left untreated, a deep cut can cause shock, infection, or even death. But don't panic. Here's what you need to do. Apply direct pressure. You have to stop the bleeding first. Don't waste time worrying about anything else. Press firmly on the wound with a clean cloth, or your shirt if necessary. Elevate the wound. If possible, lift the injured limb above the heart level. This reduces the blood flow to the wound and helps slow the bleeding. Tourniquet. If all else fails, you have to use a tourniquet. You might be thinking, this sounds extreme. And it is. But it could be your last option. Tie a piece of cloth or paracord tightly above the wound to stop blood flow, and make sure to note the time. A tourniquet for too long can cause permanent damage, but if you do it right, it can save your life. Now, we've covered basic treatment for bleeding, but there's something you need to know. The worst might be yet to come. You can't afford to stop here. Insect and animal bites. Now, let's talk about one of the most common dangers, bites. Whether it's from insects, spiders, or even a snake, bites are a serious risk. If you're lucky, the insect bite is nothing more than an annoyance. But if you're bitten by a snake or another dangerous animal, the situation can quickly turn life-threatening. For insect bites, the key is prevention. Mosquitoes and ticks carry diseases, and if you're in an area with heavy insect activity, cover yourself with long sleeves and pants. Always have insect repellent on hand. This is non-negotiable. Tick bites. If you find one latched onto your skin, use fine-tipped tweezers to remove it carefully. Don't crush the tick, and make sure to disinfect the area afterward. If you start feeling symptoms like fever or chills, seek medical help immediately. Ticks can transmit Lyme disease. Now, for something much more dangerous, snake bites. The first thing you need to do is stay calm. Panic only increases your heart rate, and that accelerates the venom spreading through your bloodstream. Keep the affected area below the heart if you can, and don't try to suck out the venom. That's a myth that could do more harm than good. The next few seconds are crucial, and if you don't act fast enough, the damage could be irreversible. Burns and blisters. What about burns? Cooking over a fire or mishandling hot equipment can lead to burns, and trust me, these can be worse than they seem. Cooling the burn is your first priority. Cool the area with running water, but avoid using ice. It can damage your skin further. If the burn is minor, apply an antibiotic ointment and cover it with a sterile dressing. But don't pop blisters. Blisters are the body's natural way of protecting itself, and popping them introduces infection. If you're dealing with serious burns, where the skin is charred or the pain is unbearable, you need to seek help immediately. Burns are tricky because they might seem manageable at first, but the damage can go deeper than what you see on the surface. The emergency first aid kit. Now, I've been walking you through some serious injuries, and you're probably wondering, what's in your first aid kit to handle all this? Well, this is where you get serious about being prepared. Your kit should include bandages, gauze, and antiseptic wipes, a tourniquet for extreme bleeding, tweezers for removing ticks and splinters, a burn gel and pain relief medication, antihistamines for allergic reactions, and even an epinephrine pin if you're prone to severe reactions. You can find a comprehensive first aid kit with all the essentials in the comments below. But having the right kit isn't enough. You need to know how to use it, when to evacuate. Sometimes, no matter how well prepared you are, it's not enough to handle a serious injury on your own. And that's when you have to know when to evacuate. You should always have a whistle, signaling mirror, or even a GPS beacon to call for help. These tools could be your lifeline. But what if you don't have the luxury of calling for help? What if time is running out? You see, survival isn't just about having the right gear. It's about knowing how to use it and when to act. In the wild, every second counts, and being prepared can mean the difference between life and death. If you haven't done so yet, check out the first aid kit I mentioned earlier, links in the comments. And if you found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe for more survival tips, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on new content. And remember, the wilderness can be unpredictable, but with the right knowledge and preparation, you can handle whatever comes your way. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next one.